wanted to be a librarian and a baker from when I was a teeny kid. So I basically always wanted to work with books and cakes. There's so many. Right now I'm really into baking pies. I like home-style baked goods, so right now any kind of fruit that's in season, a little bit of pastry, something simple. The new Sugar and Spice came out last year, and that book, it's all baking, and the chapters are organized by spices, so you basically can figure out if you love cinnamon, you can turn to the cinnamon chapter and have a whole slew of recipes to suit your taste. It's also a little bit of memoir, and I write a lot about my family who is from Sri Lanka. And the other book is called Gluten Free for Good, and that's basically a really simple beginning into gluten-free cooking. My husband thought that maybe he needed to go gluten-free, so we sort of started to rethink the way we were cooking, and as a baker, it was really devastating for me. So I wanted to write a book that sort of broke it down and made it simple, and then also sort of address the problem of when one person is gluten-free but the other person is not. How do you cook to make everybody happy? Neither my mother or father are really into baking, to be honest. I have just always loved it myself. I don't know where it came from. I kind of just always loved the feeling of dough and the sound of butter and sugar creaming together, and the smells, and it's very sensual and really wonderful to bake. I think cooking is a necessity. Everybody has to cook to eat. You have to eat to survive. But baking is just pleasure. It's just an expression of pleasure. So I've kind of always loved to do that. That's a good question. I think cream pies are kind of a good way to start, because you can make a crust that doesn't involve pastry. So that means you can grind up cookie crumbs or graham cracker crumbs or things like that to make your crust, which is just a pressing crust. So it's super easy. And then you just make a pudding basically on the stove, which is also pretty easy. And then let it chill, and then you can top it with a big swirl of whipped cream and chocolate shavings and things that sort of gild the lily without a lot of effort. So that's probably a good place to start. It's been a long process. So I went to culinary school about 10 years ago, and I got a job, an internship at a food magazine called Saveur in their test kitchen. And after doing that and really falling in love with that, I sort of figured out that I wanted to work in test kitchens. Getting to a position in a test kitchen that I was really happy with took a long time. I had to wash a lot of dishes at the beginning, and I had to run errands and go shopping and get people coffee and do all those things that you have to do at the beginning. But I think if you do that stuff with a smile and you're, willing to do whatever anybody asks of you, it's easier to progress. So I did that for a while, and then basically just always had this nagging need to write a book, to write my own book that I could put my name on and create the recipes that were in my head without anybody else's feedback and influence. Just sometimes it's nice not to have a boss, to be your own boss. But I think the number one thing is set a goal, and then just get a draft of something done. Get the first step of that goal done, so that you can then shape it and build it. It's never going to be perfect when you start, so just get something on paper, start doing what you want to be doing. How do you get over it? I don't know. You have a drink and then you start again the next day. That's the only thing. No one's gonna, if you give up after something bad happens, no one's gonna come back and beg you to try again. You have to try again on your own. I'm very lucky because I'm in the food industry, so I eat when I want inspiration. There's always a new bakery, there's always a new restaurant, there's always, someone's food that you can try. You can go to your friend's house and taste the things that they've been making forever. When he died, I had just graduated culinary school. So he had not seen me do anything with this new degree. He knew I loved to cook, he knew I loved to bake, but he never saw any of the realized, goals. So I guess before he died, he managed to tell me that he wanted me to live a happy life. And then he said, get that job, get that test kitchen job, just get that first test kitchen job. And so I kind of always think of him and think, okay, what's the next job he would be proud of me getting? And how do I live a happy life? Because that's the most important goal of all. I just want to do him proud. I mean, it's like anybody who passes away, you just want them to be proud of you. Be willing to do the grunt work, because if you do the grunt work for a little while, you'll get past it. And if you do it with a positive attitude, you'll get past it. And so that means in my industry, that means take the internship, take the dishwashing job, just take the first step. Whatever it is, it's gonna stink for a little while, because it always, the beginning always stinks, it's hard. But take that job and do it with a smile, and then you'll make it work.